As some highly successful movies launch long-running franchises, the shift in creative direction can often change the main character, for better or worse. The adrenaline-filled Fast and Furious series, starring Vin Diesel, started as a mid-sized budget Point Break-style knockoff about Los Angeles streetcar racing geared towards teens in the early 2000s. Today, it has evolved into a Mission Impossible-style billion-dollar franchise with 9 subsequent installments and 1 spin-off. With each installment getting more fantastical than the next, the grounded elements that drove young audiences to the theaters in the summer of 2001 became lost with time. One notable gear shift is that of Diesel's auto mechanic by day, street king by night anti-hero Dominic Toretto. Though the character retained his values of keeping family together, the real Dom was only seen in the Fast and the Furious. From that point on, the man audiences see on the screen is a completely different kind of protagonist. Dom kickstarted the franchise in 2001's The Fast and the Furious opposite Paul Walker's Officer Brian O'Connor. Both actors had established credits to this point, most notably Diesel's performances in Saving Private Ryan and Pitch Black. Yet, neither actor had reached household name status when they appeared in the Rob Cohen-helmed action film. While the original installment was grounded in the practical stunt work used in its high-energy car sequences, character relationships were at the core of the tale. As a character, Dom had a DNA similar to Patrick Swayze's Bodhi from Point Break. He exudes high confidence on the street as an unbeaten competitor that nearly everyone respects. However, Dom is haunted by the death of his father in a racing accident which he witnessed at a young age. His internal rage resulted in beating his father's opponent to death, time in prison, and a lifetime ban from professional racing. Dom's dark past eventually complicated his values in the present. While struggling to be a protective brother to his sister Mia, Jordana Brewster, Dom still operates within the criminal underworld to support their livelihood. Dom's jaded worldview only sees a ray of hope through the budding friendship with O'Connor, who initially goes undercover to investigate him. Though he infiltrates Dom's crew to find out if he's leading a series of truck heists, O'Connor comes around not only to Dom's worldview of living life a quarter mile at a time, but also to his loyalty to family. Even when O'Connor is forced to reveal his identity to Dom, the mechanic-turned-professional thief cannot bring himself to do harm for self-preservation. O'Connor's professional sacrifice to save Dom's family and forego any arrests changes the nature of their complicated relationship to that of mutual respect, as opposed to the brotherhood they shared later in the Fast and Furious franchise. The complexities in Diesel's Dom were tossed aside by the time of his full return in the 4th installment of the Fast and Furious franchise. By this time, the franchise had expanded to new characters and exotic locales outside L.A. The 4th movie was no exception, as Dom was still hijacking trucks overseas, only to return to the States to avenge the death of his love, Letty, Michelle Rodriguez. Rather than evolving naturally, Dom's motivations jump around from vengeance, Fast and Furious, to executing the ultimate heist, Fast 5, and eventually siding with law enforcement, Fast and Furious 6. Throughout these adventures, Dom learns nothing about turning his life around for good. Despite the consistent line about the Fast and Furious franchise being all about family, the Dom who sought atonement in the original film has evolved into a globe-trotting action hero akin to Diesel's XXX character. He spends the rest of the series saving the world while surviving countless near-death experiences that no human being can outwit. By Fast X, Dom has become John McClane in Live Free or Die Hard, where the everyman hero is nearly invincible. Then there's the constant effort by the writers to expand Dom's life with the secret relationship with a Rio cop, Elena Neves, Elsa Patsky, bearing his child, as well as the reveal of his long-lost brother Jacob, John Cena. All this pales in comparison to Dom's dynamic with Paul Walker's O'Connor, whose absence in the franchise is glaring. Without O'Connor, Dom is a flat hero without anyone giving him the moral push and pull that made the character so compelling in that first installment. Fast X, Part 2 is in the works, but it's near impossible at this point for Dom to return to his roots from that 2001 film. He can make all the big speeches justifying his actions as love for family, but to exist in a larger universe full of flat supporting players and over-the-top missions as opposed to the grounded moral complexities about life as a street racer, Dom and his family can never truly return home. The Fast and the Furious is available to watch on Netflix in the US.